User joined your channel.
Okay, live on YouTube.
Okay, streaming.
User left your channel.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ESBN, the Esports Broadcasting Network. Tonight, we're coming to you from far east, far east. We're out in Japan. We're at the Twin Motegi, bringing you the top fuel IndyCar racing series. How you doing, everyone? Byron Rodney up here in the booth, getting ready to bring you 165 laps of proof that we can't load an IndyCar into the back of an airplane and fly it all the way out to Japan. We're about to get qualifying underway here, guys. The practicing is winding up. The ESBN Broadcasting Network, top fuel racing at its best. Mr. Scott Brinson bringing you what I call one hell of a good racing league. So far, the weather out here today, we're looking at partly cloudy. Air temps at 79, but that track, boy, when them cars are out there running, they're running hot. 101 degrees, everybody. Our top 10 out of practice so far. Rick Raven having the hot hand holding the pretty wheel. Putting down that fast lap in practice. Paul Crumride, Tony Bizzarro, Chris Samar, and Brad Truex, your top 5. Followed by Sage Karam, Chris Walker, Keith Mayato, and Nate Seeker. Top 10 rounded out by Scotty Brinson. Qualifying underway right now. We're going to catch us a look at who's out on the track. Brad Truex takes his car out. Timothy Bates, Bob Riley, Tony Bizzarro, Sage Karam. I'm waiting for these guys to take that qualifying lap. It's going to be a fun race, folks. Let me tell you, aero push out here on this track is real. You're going to see guys out here pushing it, getting around, doing the best they can. Brad Truex out, getting ready to take his lap. Looks like he's going to take a slow one. Keith Mayato, into the wall on his qualifying lap. Hated to see that one happen. Bob Lacavara out on the track taking time. So far, Brad Truex leads the pack by Chris Martin and Nate Seeker. He's got a slow flyer out there. He needs to bring that car up to speed. But as I was saying, on this track, a car out there by itself, those wings on that open wheel set, let me tell you, they would give you a lot of downforce on that car. Make it stick to that track around those corners. But if you are the car in second or third place following close by, you don't have as much benefit of that wind over those wings holding that car down. And it tends to do what we call aero push. And that's make that car not want to turn. You crank them wheels over, it's going to keep headed straight for that outside wall. Guys are going to be running high lines, running low lines. They're going to be drafting up to pass and be very mindful. Aero push here is real. 165 laps. It's going to be a quick race. It's going to come down to fuel strategy, tire strategy, and who has everything put together at the time that the button is pushed. Time to hit the scramble button and go for broke. Take a look at our qualifying grid so far. Y'all have to give me as the newest member of ESBN Broadcasting, y'all have to give me a little bit of a break. as I work them cameras, as I work those cars, as I work everything. I'll try my best to bring it to you all. It's a proud time to be here. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to fill in for my man, Tony Trapasso, who is down at the hospital. I want to wish him well. Hopefully he'll be back soon and be back here next week for everybody. Cars out on the track. Let's take a look and see if we can follow a couple out here. Johnny Antonucci out grabbing a qualifying lap. Bringing it back pit side. So far, your qualifying looks, I don't know why the number 23 is not bringing up a name on there. But number 23 is Chris Walker, holding down that 6th spot. Your top 10 in qualifying right now go by Chris Samar, Keith Mayato, Nate Siefker laying down a hot lap, 27.6. Followed by Jay Sharp, Jeff Hollingsworth, Martinez, Yerk, Antonucci, and Winecroft. A lot of guys have yet to lay down a qualifying lap. I have yet to see Cameron Mustaine, Paul Crumry, Kevin O'Brien, Rick Ravon. He's out on track right now. He set down the hot lap in qualifying. Let's take a lap around with him if we can. Rick, so far posted in the number 5 position at 27.622 around the track. Mark to beats at 27.4. We have yet to see some guys get out there on the track and take their qualifying lap. As we watch Rick take it right out to the wall, hammer down, get across that line and see if he can advance that position. No, he does not. See David Martinez sneaking into the top 10 there and dropping right out. Mike Grandy posting a 6th position qualifying spot so far in his qualifying effort. Good run for him. Paul Crumry, Jay Sharp, Jeff Hollingsworth. They round out your top 10. Scotty Brinson jumping up to the 8th position on his qualifying lap. Let's see if I can get a ride around the lap with him. Take a look and see how he's doing on his qualifier. He's on another flyer in the Fuzzy's car. See if he can advance that 27. Just a bit more. 27,666. And he posts down to 641. You throw a blanket over the top. The top 5 qualifiers are all within 0.12 seconds of each other. It doesn't drop down until the 11th place. That is 0.29 off the lead. Cameron Mustaine out taking a flyer. Raul Alvarez is off the track. Last 2 cars are on the track. Kevin O'Brien and Tony Pizarro. Let's follow Kevin on his qualifier because Kevin can lay down a decent lap. Weather might be a factor in this thing. It's the track. Well, the track's cooling down, 97 degrees. The guys that are waiting might be able to pop off with a faster lap. Only car I see out on track right now is Tony Pizarro. Tony all the way up to P3 in qualifying with a 27.565, blistering around here. Qualifying, folks, is all about hitting your marks. It's all about holding what we call a pretty wheel. Hold that thing steady. Let's keep it, the less input you have to put, the less speed you're going to scrub off of those tires as you go around. Take a ride with him on his next lap. Barely any input on that wheel. Holds it to the white line, brings it right back out to the wall. Get the max he can out of that power plant. Bringing her back around to the start finish, up close to that wall. Piece of paper wouldn't have made it. 27.7 on that last lap. Still 27.5 holding him the third qualifying position. Two minutes left in qualifying, folks. Anyone going to go out there and take time? Mark Walker finally out on the track. See what kind of time he can lay down out there. Take a ride around with Mark, see how he holds that wheel. Ooh, might have overdrove that corner just a little bit. Got in there a little too hot. He's got another lap he can go and lay down a time. So far, good enough for the 24th effort. Riding along with Mark Walker. He's currently holding down that 24th position. Enters the corner at 200 miles an hour. Bleeds her down to 180 and powers right back out towards the wall. Oh, caught the wall. That's going to cost him some time. That's going to cost him a bit of time. His qualifying is under 50 seconds to go. I don't see any other cars out on track. It looks like Cody Dempster and Jeff Whitaker are going to take, or Jeff Lubker are going to take their start shotgun on the field. As qualifying starts to it's come to a close. No one else is going to be out there. So, there's your starting grid, folks. If you look at qualifying, Chris Simard's going to take the race from the pole with a time blistering 27.499. But like I said, 1/10 separates the top five in here. Keith Miata will come off second. Tony Pizarro third. Sage Karam qualifying in P4th. Nate Siefker rolling down the lap in fifth. Rick Ravon will take the sixth starting spot outside row 3. Scotty Brinson takes seventh. Mike Grandy, 8th position. Paul Crumry from the 9th. And Jeff Sharp's going to round out your top 10. Twin Ring Motegi, folks. Time to get things rolling. We take a look at the cars lining up on the starting grid. They're going to come off like this. Chris Simard first. Keith Miata starting from the second position. Third will be Tony Pizarro. Sage Karam rolling off on P4. Nate Siefker, good friend of mine, rolling off P5. Rick Ravon making his return, third race back to the league. He's going to roll off from P6. Scotty Brinson is 7th. Mike Randy rolling off 8th. Paul Crumry taking a 9th position. Jeff Sharp rounding out your top 10. Jeff Hollingsworth going to come off the grid on 11th. Chris Walker in 12th. Damon Martinez and Andy Yerk will make up the next row. Johnny Antonucci, another racer I'm very familiar with. Tim Weinkoff starting in the 16th starting position. Bob Lacavara coming off from 17th. Timothy Bates following him in 18th. We have a field of cars here, folks. 19th, Cameron Bostaine. 20th, my cohort in disaster up here in the ESPN's Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett is going to roll off 20th. Bob Raleigh, 21st. Kevin O'Brien, 22nd. Raul Alvarez, 23rd. Mark Walker rolling off in the 24th position. Chris Bahan, that's kind of a sad spot to be starting from. He's going to roll off 25th. Jeff Lubker, or no, Brad Truex taking the 26th spot. As the cars roll off of pit road, Jeff Lubker, 27th. Cody Dempster, 28th. And that is your field, folks. We take it around the track. Get our warm-up lap in. You'll notice the pace car, the lights are off on it. That means we're going to catch a green flag when we get around here to the start-finish line, folks. You're going to see that pace car take that hard left turn into pit road, and it's on those two front row teammates right there. Similar paint jobs on the car. They're going to take us green. To my man Tony, who's not able to be here tonight, I just want to say get well, my friend. See you back here next week for certain. Pace car taking the field down into turn 3. They're starting to line them up 2 by 2. Deep field back, and in honor of my man, Mr. Tony Trapasso, pace car takes out hard left turn. Tell Grandpa it's time to pop a Viagra and get it on. Green flag here at the Twin Ring Motegi, Far East Japan. Chris Samad just taking it out, walking out that first lead into turn 1. The angry pack of bees right behind him. And you'll notice they're riding up tight close. Sage Karam making that move up to P3. And you'll see guys start to fan out and sneak down there to try and break that arrow because, like I said, arrow push is real here, folks. Sage Karam moving it on up into P2. Now he's stretching out his legs, setting his sights on Chris Samard. 3/10 of a second separating them. We'll see if Chris can hold Sage off. Sage looking for the draft to come up to him, try and make that pass. Tony Bizzarro, Rick Raven, and Nate Siefker rolling out your top 5. As we do have close racing. There goes what we call the Indy Snake, folks. Nate Siefker falling back to the 6th position, and Mike Grandy right behind him. Scotty Brinson holding down 8th, and I always call a racer to watch for the end of the race, and I'm going to call out Scotty Brinson as my driver to watch for the end of the race. He stays off the radar, stays safe, keeps it clean, but oh my God, watch out for him towards the end of the race. Taking it back up to the top of the field, Chris Samard legging it out a bit. Holding down a 7/10 gap on the second place driver, Sage Karam. With 165 laps to go here, folks, they're going to just take it easy, ride around, see how much fuel they can get out of a tank on this thing. And we have a caution as the pace car's out. Jeff Hollingsworth back in the pits. Let's see if we can back that up just a little bit and see what happened to Jeff. Jeff, oh my God, let me take that back into the wall. Coming off of 3. Just washed up, couldn't hold it down. That's what I was talking about, that arrow push, folks. It is real. You get up too close to a car and you can't get him. Oh, clipped by another one. I know Jeff, he's not going to be very happy about that. Take you back live. Sitting behind the pace car. Jeff Sharp and Jeff Hollingsworth, the only two down in pit lane right now. Everyone else electing to stay out on the track. We'll see what happens when they come around. And you can see 1 taker, 2 takers. That'd be Nate Siefker, David Martinez, 3 takers, Kevin O'Brien, 4 takers, Mark Walker. Guys who are running close to the back of the pack, they have nothing to lose. They're going to stay in the back of the pack, but stay on that lead lap when they come into the pits. They're getting a full tank and another set of fresh Dr. Feelgoods on the outsides of those wheels. Drivers exiting pit lane will form up back at the back of the pack. Take you back up to our leader. Riding behind the pace car. Lights are on. One more lap around. I was saying it earlier, folks. That's a stern reminder. Arrow push is real. You just watched it with Mr. Hollingsworth up there and into the wall. If you would have had clean air in front of him, the downforce on the front of those wings put enough pressure on those front wheels. When you turn them, it will turn. Good view of the track here in Japan. Packed crowd. Byron Rodney up here in the broadcast booth, taking care of business for my man Tony Trapasso. Get well soon, brother. Bringing you top fuel racing here on the ESPN Esports Broadcasting Network. Working lap 7 of 165, our first caution tonight. Guys are going to start forming up here behind the pace car as we get ready to bring them back around again for green. Chris Lamar's still pointing the way with Sage Karam behind him. Tony Pizarro, third. Fourth goes Keith Mayato and Rick Reeve rounding out your top 5. These are going to be a top 5 to watch. But like I said, I picked my one driver of the race, Mr. Scotty Brinson. That's my driver to watch in this one. Lights are still on the pace car. We're going to take one more lap around here as we get it sorted out. We'll be right back. Top Fuel Racing here, Indy Series here on the ESPN Esports Broadcasting Network. Byron Rodney here in the booth. You can see the lights are out on the pace car as we're getting ready to take it live one more time around. Pace car is going to take that hard left into pit lane. And it's back to get on the gas. Working our first caution. Come out on lap 5 of 165. Hopefully we can keep her lean and green. Your top 5 out there: Chris Samard, Sage Karam, Tony Pizarro, Keith Mayato, and Rick Ravon getting ready to take the green flag as we watch pace car come around one more time. Look for it to take that hard left onto pit lane right there. Leaders have got the gas. Green flag, here we go. Angry pack of Hornets gets right into single lane file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Throw a blanket over and watch Sage Karam's decks down. Oh, Tony Pizarro kicking it real wide. Maybe got a little bit of aero wash. Drops 3 or 4 positions. And we have got a battle, folks. Sage Karam, Chris Samard, Sage Karam. Hammer and tong back and forth. Sage rolling that outside lane. Chris Samard down low. Down low, the shorter way to go, but that outside lane will carry a lot of momentum. Both with clean air. Both going to grab that high downforce on the car. Sage Karam tucking up behind him to get the draft. Going to shoot down under. Working for the pass, folks. Sage Karam to the point. Knowing it's early in the race, Chris Samard just takes it wide, gives him the position, says, "I'm right here. Knock, knock. I'll be here soon." Speaking of Chris Samard, let's take a look at the GoPro that we mounted on there and take a wrap around Twin Ring Motegi behind Sage Karam as he works second place. Corner entry at over 200 miles per hour. Fans it out to the wall. He's looking for that draft from first place up in front of him. Folks, it may be an oval track, but with 4 corners, but let me tell you, it's real technical when you get in these open wheel, high downforce cars. First and second place, you can see the interval between them. 0.4 of a second. Stretching it, Sage stretching it out just a little bit, coming off those corner exits. Another 1.2 seconds back to Tony Pizarro and Rick Ravon right on his tail. Rick Ravon just right behind him, just 1/10 of a second. You can see how he washes up because of that aero wash I was telling you about. It's a technical track. Rick's just going to hold down that 4th position and keep pace with him. Looking back to Rick. And rounding out your top 5 is Mike Randy with Scotty Brinson moving up a position. He is in 6th, sitting right on his tail. Not pushing the issue, but not yet letting him go either. So far, that seems to be about the closest battle on the track. We can go back through the field. Scotty taking the low lane. Dialing up the short way around the Twin Ring Motegi here in Japan. Paul Krumrye rolling 7th. Holding a pretty wheel as he just rolls around, holding position. Chris Walker just coming up right behind him, followed by Andy York. And Tim Weinkoff rolling out your top 10. 5 seconds separate your leader to the 10th position. 12 seconds all the way to the back of the field. Jeff Hollingsworth 1 lap down, and unfortunately, Keith Mayato had lapped us down as well. We're going to have to find out what happened with Keith. Looked like he might have taken a bump on the wall with a little bit of aero wash. That's leaving Sage Karam all the way up in the point just by his lonesome. Legging it out to a 1.1 second lead. Racing all around the track, following Mike Randy around. He's just following Scotty Brinson. Just holding down a 4/10, about half a second gap in between them. You got your leader in Sage Karam. He's been running out there for a while. He's got a 1.2 second lead on second place. But Tony Pizarro, 0.8 back. Rick Ravon, 0.8 back. Scotty Brinson, 0.8 back. Everyone in the top from 2 to 10 just holding the gap, holding their line and just riding. Working lap 19 of 165 here in Japan. Taking a look just outside the top 10, Gabler and Mustaine. Rolling that 11th spot, followed by Tony Bates. Oh, Sam Cooper Bennett. Let's take a look at Sam, because I just want to point out something. I'm going to take a little follow along on Sam's car with our high-speed drone. I hope I don't distract him. Sporting the autism awareness puzzle pieces. I want to say thank you to Sam for rolling that paint scheme for me. Watching Sam take the laps around the track, he is holding down your 13th position. 9 seconds off the lead, but only half a second gap back between him and Tony Bates. Tony Bates, half a second gap back. Cameron, half a second gap back. Everyone just seems to be singling out and rolling it around. Well, some slow cars. Something happened here. Looks like we've got some pit action going on. Gianni Antonucci taking a pit side. Nate Siefker. Well, we had a snarl back in that little bit of a pack. Oh, up into the wall goes number 21 of Andy Yerk, taking it down pit side. Hope he's got a fast repair for that one. I heard that was a ouch. Did not bring out the caution, folks. Cars are out working their laps, back up in the league. Sage Karam just holding that pretty wheel, just working the track laps. "24 laps out there on that set of tires and on that tank of fuel." It's got to make you wonder, how far can he go on that tank, folks? That's going to set him a little bit of strategy. That's going to set, hey, do I need to make 3 stops? Do I need to make 4 stops? That's a decision that every race engineer and every crew chief has to make. Welcome to iRacing, folks. We do it all on our own. Your top 10 out there running look like this. Sage Karam rolling in that top 10. Chris Simard bringing up second place. Holding down a second and a half behind him. Tony Bizzarro rolling third, followed by Rick Rabon, Scotty Brinson. Paul Kremrod coming around, Chris Walker right behind him. Sam Cooper Bennett, folks, moves up into the 8th position. But that's because I've seen some green flag stops. You know, short pitting early is a strategy we all use, some to success, some to not success. We're just going to have to see how this one plays out and how it works. My man Nate Siefker, he's brought up pit side once already. He's 6 laps fresher tires when we saw him on that first caution come in, rolling down the 9th spot. And bringing up 10th, Tim Weinkoff, who just got passed by Cameron Mustaine. So far, the best feel-goods of the field are Nate Siefker in 9th place. He is the furthest car up on the newest tires, as everyone that elected to stay out is working 28 laps. Got to wonder how long a fuel run's going to be, how long it can stay out in those tires. Starting 9th, Nate Siefker, he's up to the 5th position. My mover of the race, though, gotta say, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, after taking a 20th place start, currently rolling 8th, pit strategies are going to play out here because it looks like we've settled down to some long green flag runs. Heading back up to the top of the field, Sage Karam still leading them down the track. You can see what a 2.3 second gap looks like. It's just that Sage knows how to hold such a pretty wheel on this thing. Consistent around the corner, same lines, same marks, same throttle. I doubt there's any brake involved. Let's take a lap around the track with Mr. Sage Karam and see what a lap from a guy who knows how to hold a pretty wheel takes a look at. Takes it down right to that white line and lets it wash right out to the wall. And you can see up in the distance there, folks, lap traffic. He's going to have to start dealing with that. I don't have a doubt he knows what he's doing when it comes to handling. Bringing the car all the way back out to the wall, catching as much aero off of that wall as he can, brings it down into the corner. He knows exactly how hard to push it and exactly how hard not to. Taking a look around the track. From our leader's perspective, first place, Sage Karam. There's second place. There are a lot of cars in between them. and Mr. Chris Simard. Tony Piazza right behind him, followed by Rick Rave. On those three are racing for position. And I'm getting very curious, ladies and gentlemen, how far we can go on a lap, on a full fuel run here. So far, 34 laps into this run. The leaders are making their laps around the track. Oh, a little bit of passing for position going on there, working that lap traffic. Tony Pizarro making his way around. Rick Rave on. Now they're splitting the two. Look for Rick to duck low. Looking to make that clean pass, but oh my gosh, you're not giving it to him. Not giving it to him by far. Damon Martinez rolling first car lap down. Everyone seems to be holding down that track. We stretched it out. We're riding, folks. Byron Rodney up here in the booth, ESPN, bringing Top Fuel Racing. IndyCars in Japan. Hey, if the Formula Ones can come over and see us, well, let's take our IndyCars and go and see them. How's that? Two different animals, same kind of concept. Open wheels and wings. Ballsy drivers with lead feet. Kind of wondering how far our leader's going to take it. 37 laps out now. Watching some guys brought it into the pit. Rick Ravon. Looks like he made a pit. Brought it in a little early. Guys, I believe it is starting to happen. Pit cycles are starting. Let's see when our leader decides to take his turn in the pits. So far, no one there now. Scotty Brinson somehow got himself around Chris Simard. Chris Simard right there behind him. Scotty holding down second. That was my driver to watch, folks, but holy folk, we roll up all the way 6.2 seconds in advance of the rest of the field. And we have a caution. Caution is out. Looks like Tim Wycroft brought her all the way around. Let's see if we can catch what happened to him there, folks. See if I can see what Instant Replay has to say about that. We were watching Rick go around. Did he get into the wall himself, or did he have a little help coming around? Oh, looks like Netcode took him right the heck out. Brought him back onto the track. And that's what happens, folks, when you have a bad computer connection to the internet. That's what it looks like. Bringing her back live. Our leader's still out there. 42 laps out on those tires, out on that tank. Is he going to take advantage of the pit road exit this time? Let's see what happens, folks. How many of these guys are going to come roll into the pits? Our leader takes the pits. There goes second, third, fourth. The other ones look like you're going to catch a wave around. Try to get back on that lead lap. Who's going to make it first off of that pit lane? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that is going to be your number 22, Sage Karam. Looks like followed by Scotty Brinson, and here comes the rest of the pack. Someone must have missed a pit. Someone must have got it just right. Got to wait for timing and scoring to cycle back around. Because right now, as far as I can see, I'm posting Kevin O'Brien as your leader, folks. But he is out there on 37-lap old tires. He's probably staying around to come around, get across that start-finish line, get that bonus point for leading the lap, and then duck into the pits. And call me Karnak the Magnificent. Here he comes. Bringing it pit side. And that is going to leave your man on the point, Sage Karam. Top five, when we take the green, are going to be looking like this. Sage Karam out front. Scotty Brinson, Chris Samar, Tony Pizarro, and you know what? One I should have also mentioned as a driver to watch, Mr. Nate Seifker, holding down that top five position. Looking at your 10, Paul Crumrine, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. Man, there's your fast mover. 20th to 7th after that pit cycle, followed by Brad Truax. Someone I haven't seen out here for a while. Cameron Bastain, and someone I'm familiar with from another league, Mr. Johnny Antonucci. Holding down that 10th spot, showing that he can hold a pretty wheel with the rest of them himself. Working lap 44 of 165 here at the Twin Ring Motegi. If I take another peek at the weather, it is starting to cool off. Air temperature's dropping, folks. 79 degrees. Track temp's down to 96. Well, let me give you a little bit of engineering. With these Feel Goods fresh tires on these cars, the lower the temperature on the track, the more happy they are going to be with traction. You see the next 4 or 5 cars go around the pace car, take their lap back, get back on that lead lap, or get a lap back with the wave around. That's going to leave you with your top 10 looking like this. For the start, Sage Karam, Scotty Brinson, Chris Samar, Tony Pizarro, Nate Seifker, top 5. 6, Paul Crumrye. Inside the next row, Sam Cooper Bennett, Brad Truax, Cameron Bastain, and Johnny Antonucci. Cars working their way around turn 2 complex, headed down the back straight. Lights are off on the pace car, which means, hey, when I get by that pit lane, I'm going to take a hard left and you guys are going to go for broke. Look for the loud pedal. It's the tall, skinny one all the way to the right-hand side. And Mario Andretti said it best. Anyone who thinks brakes are for stopping doesn't know how to race a car. We use brakes in these things to help us turn. Coming around turn 4, taking a look at the field forming up 2 by 2. There goes the pace car taking that hard left turn in. And there they go. Off to the races. Green flag. Sage Karen brings it on out. Jumps up, holds that high line. He's going to lead that angry pack around turns 1 and 2. I don't know if they have a rule on the league here about changing lanes before start finish, because it kind of looked like he did, but I'm not going to judge. Watching the field sneak out and fan out behind him down the backstretch. Guys working high lane, guys working the low lane. Oh! Looks like Chris Samard must, I don't think he survived that wall bump there. Scraped a little bit of the goodie off the outside of the tire. Well, good thing we run on the on the bottom of the tire. Sage Karen leading him around. Chris Mazard, Ponizaro. Scotty Brinson, P4. Nate Seifker holding down a respective 5th place. Watching Tony try to work that inside line on Chris Samard. He might have noticed Chris bumped that wall a little bit. He might have bent something just a tad to take a little bit of the aero off the car. Take a little bit of the toe end out of the tire. That'll surely help you not turn. As they are starting to leg it out. Stretch it out. Well, we saw 42 laps on that. 47 laps is what they ran on that last stint. See if they can hold another 47 laps. That's going to make it a 2-stop race as we're working lap 49 at 165. No, they might have to make it a 3-stopper. It's all going to be about who can save the fuel in this, folks. You can jump up in that draft. You can ride around and hold that corner half throttle where the guy out in front's got to mash the throttle all the way to the bottom just to hold that same speed. He's going to burn more fuel. You're going to burn less. Scotty with a little bit of a connection issue there. Popping out, popping in. You see that little puff of smoke work up off the tires. Our top 10. 10th place, Tony Bates. 4.1 seconds behind the leader. Holding their own. 9th is Cameron Bostaine. Sam Cooper Bennett working the outside lane right there. Oh, careful, Sam. Car on the inside. Holding the position. Taking 8th. Brad Truex is 7th. Paul Crumride 6th. Nate Seifker rounding out your top 5. Guys are kind of looking like they're putting in cruise control, and we are rolling. Keeping our eyes on Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. Let's see what a lap around the Twin Ring Motegi looks like from his perspective. Now, mind you, drivers to the inside, drivers to the outside, you do have a spotter that does let you know. Sam's sporting the paint scheme of autism awareness and pH aware. And, of course, you can't resist. Right across the front, in front of that steering wheel, folks, lets you know who our main man and founder is, the ESPN Esports Broadcasting Network, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. Sam working a tight little battle right there. Dropping back to the 9th position when Cameron Bostaine comes right around him. Let's move on back up to the top of the pack, and you can see the gap between 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th as they roll them around. Top 4 in your camera view there from the blimp. Just working their lanes, just working their lines, hitting their marks. 12 laps in. We know we can make it at least 48. And caution has come out. That looks like that caution come out for Kevin O'Brien. He is back in the pits. Let's see if we can't catch what happened to Kevin back out on the track. Following Rick Ravon right there. There it is. Keep your eyes on the green car. Just didn't check out. Oh! A little bit of net code, a little bit of disconnection, and up and over he goes. That brings out our caution. With 12 laps, you think anyone's going to jump on into that pit lane? Take a look at our blimp cam again. Everyone working single file behind the pace car here at the Twin Ring Motegi. As far east as we go, and here comes all of your leaders into pit row. Coming in on lap 55, knowing you can work 50 laps, that puts you in this stop and one more for the money stop. That puts you in the window of making it one more stop. Let's see if we can catch who's going to make it into here and who's going to make it out of here. Sage Karam led that group on down. He's going to lead them out off of the pack. Close racing off. Watch that speeding, boys. Don't get that penalty, and we'll see where everyone cycles out. And if I focus my view right back up to the front of the field, look at the beauty of that ESBN car riding behind the pace car. He stayed out. Timothy Bates stayed out. Rick Ravon stayed out. Top three stayed out on tires and fuel. Don't know what the strategy they're working there is, but I can tell you, Sam, he's probably working that strategy of I'm going to get a point for leading a lap, then I'll take a pit side to catch up with you guys on the rest of that strategy. Working lap 56 of 165. Just about 25 laps short of halfway, and there goes Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett taking it in pit side. Followed by the rest of the cars that are a lap down. But Sam picking up that bonus point for leading the lap. That's going to cycle it back to lead back up to Timothy Bates. He elected to stay out 14-lap old tires. The one that I've got a question mark by, and the one that I'm going to have to check in with at the end of this rate, Mr. Rick Ravon. 20 laps on those feel goods on the outside of that thing. Don't see much damage on his car at all. He's been holding a pretty steady wheel. He's going to take off on the P2 spot, but he's got 20 laps on those tires and 20 laps in that tank. Everyone else have taken a pit side. First car on 4 fresh tires and a tank of fuel. That's going to be Mr. Sage Karam, followed by Tony Pizarro and Scotty Brinson. He made it out there in that little drag race you saw off the end of pit lane. Nate Siefker holding down the Ford at 6th position. Chris Samard 7th, Paul Crumry 8th, Brad Truex, and Cameron Bastain. That's going to wind out your top 10 for this restart. Working our third caution. ESPN Broadcasting Network bringing you the Top Fuel Racing Network live from the Twin Motegi. It's Byron Rodney up here in the control booth. Watching him work the track under caution. It looks like a fast track when we take a ride around with the driver, but when they're under fire. But as they form up, before we get to green, let's ride along with our leader. Better yet, let's ride along with the first one to take 4 tires, Mr. Sage Karam, 3rd position. Let's watch this restart from his car, because you're going to see what the difference between 15 and 21 lap tires are on this restart. But notice they were so busy and how fast it was going around this thing at speed. But shoot, when you're working a caution lap and you're rolling along in caution at 60 miles an hour, big difference from 200. Little slower. Just admiring that paint job of the P2 driver, Rick Ravon, with that gold paint job. Nice throwback. Beautiful looking car. Well, working our way into the turn 3 complex, you can see the lights are out in the pace car. You're going to see that pace car take that hard left from the driver's perspective. He's going to form up, get right behind him, and watch. Now, first place makes that move. Hammer down, first, second, third gear. Here we go with fourth. And this is where, folks, the little lesson I was telling you about, fresh tires are key. These two drivers in front of them are just what we call sitting ducks. They don't have the traction around the corners that he does. And I say give it another half lap and he's going to take the first position. There he goes. We've overtaken for second. Wash it out to the rack, and he is going to do his best to work on your second place. Oh, take that back. Tony Pizarro is going to walk that right back around him, or attempt to. Top three, Rick Ravon holding down that top spot on those older tires, followed by Sage Karam, Tony Pizarro, Scotty Brinson, and Nate Siefker. Something happened with Scotty. He must have tapped the wall because he just started to drop just a bit, but he's climbing back up there. Keeping my eye on that first place, second place battle. Wondering how long Sage is going to let him ride before he says, guess what, guy, get out of my way. I'm going to the point. See ya. Caught a glimpse of 3 wide working back there. Focusing in on Nate Siefker as he dives it down to the low lane, trying to break the draft. Takes the short way around the track, but folks, look at the momentum that high side carries right around you. 3 wide close quarter racing open wheels equals somebody just might get to go flying. Paul Kremrine, Nate Siefker, and Chris Lamar throw a blanket over them, folks. They are right there. Back up to your leader, Rick Ravon, holding down that spot. I am so surprised, man. 26 laps on those tires. He's holding off Sage Karam. Or is Sage Karam just saying, hey, I'm here, you bobble, I'm there. That's how it kind of works. But Rick, he knows how to hold a pretty wheel himself. He knows how to take a 5-foot car and make it seem like it's 15 feet wide. Folks, we say it all the time. It's one thing to catch them. It's a whole nother ball game to try and pass them. There's your top 3 in frame, top 2, and top 1. Everyone else has got a strategy. They're going to hold down one more stop for that money stop, especially if they catch a caution. They can really stretch it out. I don't understand. We can get maybe another 20 laps out of Rick's car there. That'd put him around lap 85. But if I do my math right, that makes 85 laps to the end. He's got to make another stop. So he's into a 2-stop strategy. He's got to stop twice. Everyone else on this track only got to do it once. Taking a look at your gap from first to second to third right there as they enter the corner. 4th place right in there. They just seem to be riding, legging it out under caution. And I believe that might have been Mr. Bob Riley. Let's see if we can find out what happened with Bob there. Rolling in a Napa car. Oh, just washes it all the way up. Spin, flip, flippy, spinny. Brings out our 4th caution. That's got to hurt. That has got to hurt. And I don't think he has a fast repair to work on as he sits there in those pits. Coming back live, looking at our leader, Mr. Rick Ravon. You've got to be thinking he's going to bring her pit side now, knowing he can do it one more stop. Will anyone come with him? Because everyone else is working 10, 11 lap tires. Are they going to go for the field goods, knowing they all have to make another stop anyway? If that's the case, then We got to call Rick darn near a genius on strategy. They hold it back all out in the track. Well, got this broadcaster scratching his head, wondering what the strategy is. We're just going to have to. I don't, folks, see how that is going to possibly play out to his advantage. But then again, I've seen stranger things happen in the great equalizer, the caution flag coming out and just giving everybody woes. Takes your strategy, throws it right out the window, gives you a clean slate, and he even deck to work with. And then it all boils down to who can wheel a car in anger. Working our way down the backstretch. Still haven't formed up that 2x2 yet. That gives us the idea we're getting ready to go green. Lap 68 of 165. Just under 100 circuits to go. Pit strategy going to probably write the story of the race. Top Fuel Racing Network, Byron Rodney in the booth. Lights are getting ready to turn off on the pace car. That means we're going to form up 2x2 and let's get ready to do this again. Oh, lights still on. One more circuit around. Let's take a break and we shall be right back. All right, folks, now the lights are out on the pace car. Cars are forming up 2x2. Rick Revon electing to take that inside lane. 33 laps. My man, what are you doing? You must have some foreknowledge we have no knowledge of. Coming around the bend, working the back straight. Top 10 starters are going to look like this. Rick Revon, followed by Sage Karam. Scotty Brinson moving up to third place. That was my driver to watch. Paul Crumry, Brad Truex. Jeff Wubker in the 6th. Sam Cooper Bennett in 7th. Great race, Sam. Tony Pizarro, 8th. 9th, Chris Massard. Tony Bates rounding out your top 10. Lights are out on the pace car. Getting ready to take it green again one more time. Coming around the turn 3-4 complex. You're going to see the pace car take that hard left turn into pit lane. The guy out in front controls the field. Mash the gas and haul ass, folks. Here we go. Green flag is waving out. Rick takes out. Here comes the Indy Snake. Breaking that draft, following that draft, looking for an advantage, trying to gain an advantage. My man Rick holding it out there. Sage Karam holding down second. Scotty Brinson third. Brad Truex and Paul Kremrine running out your top 5. And there it goes, folks. Sage to the outside. Rick holding down that bottom line like a champ. 34 laps on them tires, and he's saying, hey, look, Mr. IndyCar driver, I am not going to let that happen. As we seem to be having some issues. We shall return. All right, everyone. Technical issues averted. Don't know what happened, but this is what happens when you race online. Every now and then, things can drop out, and that whole server disappeared. Our broadcast held the track. Every car disappeared. Don't know what happened with iRacing. One little glitch, but you know what? They're still rolling around the track. Top 5 still holding down. Sage Karam, Rick Ravon still holding down the top spot with Sage Karam, Tony Pizarro, Brad Truex, and Scotty Brinson rounding out your top 5. I don't know if Sage is letting Rick leg it out or if Rick has just got the mojo for this track. Half a second lead on our second place. Timing and scoring just catching up with me on this. Everything loading in after that little glitch. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Don't know if it was me. Don't know if it was iRacing. I'm not going to rule me out. I am the newest member of the ESPN Broadcasting Network, bringing you this Race Top Fuel Network, filling in for my man, Tony Trapasso. I'm not the greatest. I'm not the best. I'm a rookie at this. I don't have a Peter the Meter Reader engineer to help me with this thing. Taking a look around the track, Rick Ravon holding it down. Sage Karam right in behind him. Followed by Tony Pizarro, Brad Truex, and Scotty Brinson. There's your top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Riding around with Scotty Brinson. Let's take a look from his perspective and see what it's like to ride with the league owner and the co-holder, if I'm not mistaken, of the top of the championship points. Coming into this race, tied. We roll a lap around in P5. You can see the groove on the track. Everyone's been working as that rubber's been laid down. And you can hear those tires working. That's called aero push. He's scrubbing up a little bit. And just by listening to the engine and watching them shift, I smell a little bit of fuel conservation going on. Treating those tires really nice. He knows he's going to hold something back for him. Working lap 78 up 165. Taking you back to the front of the pack, Rick Ravon. God, I love that paint scheme. Simple, yet throwback, yet classic, yet classy. You can see second place just entering your screen there. Rick legging it out. 0.6 on them. 1 second back to your 5th place, Scotty Brinson. Got to be wondering, folks, when Rick's going to be thinking on taking it pit side. He's got to be hoping for a caution right now. Knowing some guys stayed out and the rest of the pack's only got 13 laps on the tires. You got to be thinking Rick Ravon's praying for a yellow flag right about now. Wondering if anyone's going to be obliging and try to give it to him. 44 laps out there for the leader. He's got to be thinking, dear God, caution. Dear God, caution. Unless he knows something about that car that we don't. I'm staying focused in on him, folks, because I'm watching for when is he going to make the break for pit lane. Sage Karam, 26 laps on the tires, sitting there in second place. 14 laps on his tires, and Tony Pizarro in third. I keep mispronouncing that name. He's probably going to shoot me or kick me in the ding-ding. Tony Pizarro. That's the name. That's the car. Number 6. Followed by Brad Truex and Scotty Brinson. Rounding your top 5. Less than a second between the first spot and the 5th spot. These guys just know, hey, look, this is the time of the race. We just need to sit, relax, cruise, log the laps. When it gets close to the end, then it's time to hit the scramble button. All bets are off. I'll bet you see some bumping and rolling then. Only 4 cautions so far in 83 laps of racing. Taking it back to our leader, you got to be wondering when he's going to call, hey, guys, 44 to the pits. It's about now in 3 laps. Oh! Thought I saw someone drop down there. Might have brought a yellow, but didn't quite happen. Right about now, the leader's asking, hey, debris on turn 3. Ah, there's oil on the track. Someone threw a water bottle. Squirrel! Wow. 49 circuits. Let's take a ride with our leader. You got to be wondering when that tank is going to run the hell dry. The blue and white 44 dual racing. Oh, that's it, folks. We can't go no further. Pit side it is. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's stay with our race leader. As he's in the pits, see how fast you can get 4 fresh tires, a tank of fuel, and get the hell out of Dodge. See what a professional team can do. It's all about hitting your marks here. In the pits, jacks go under. Tires, fuel, car down, gone. 8.6 seconds. 36 seconds is what he lost from pit entry to pit exit, including the stop itself. Drops my man Rick back into the race. I just saw Nate Seeker roll by. He is now 1 lap down behind Keith Mayato and Damon Martinez. If they've been out 20 laps, he's just now starting a fuel run. Only thing I can say right now, Rick, is pray for several cautions. Take you back to the front of the field. Rolling along with our man, Sage Karam. 1.2 seconds on the second place. Same story, different bat channel. Top Fuel Racing, folks. Open wheel IndyCar. I have a tough time with open wheel personally in racing. I enjoy doing it, but it just does not seem to be my circus and definitely does not seem to be my bunch of monkeys. Past the halfway here point, folks. Working lap 90 of 165, 75 circuits of the track to go. Sage Karam holding it pretty out front. Tony Pizarro right behind him. Scotty Brinson up to the 3rd spot, followed by Brad Truex, Paul Crumry, Chris Samard, Timothy Bates, Matt Walker, Nate Seeker in 9th, and Mr. Cameron Bostaine rolling that 10th spot in a tight battle with Jeff Hollingsworth there. Now Jeff a few cars back. Too wide, 4 cars, throw a towel over them. Some a lap down, some not. But everyone then racing for their own position. Guys being real respectful on this racetrack. We got some long green flag roads. I just love watching these cars roll around. Let's take it back up to our leader. Sitting pretty. A lot of track ahead of him. A lot of track behind him. Ooh. Looks like he got sucked into that wall just a little bit. That'll scrub a little bit of speed off him. Folks, you get up next to that wall, you can wash up and into it. It's real. It happens. Tony Pizarro holding down second place, all by his lonesome. A lot of real estate in front of him, a lot of real estate behind him. Same thing goes with Scotty Brinson. These guys are just set to ride. They know they got to make one more stop. They know they got to be perfect in that stop. They got to hit their marks in that stop. Are they going to be brave enough to just take fuel only? Who knows? But you know what? You can change 4 tires on these things faster than you can take a fuel on it. Following along with Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett holding down P13. Looks like he's having a little bit of connection issues. And I don't see our leader out there. Oh, there he is. Top 10 sitting up here of Sage Karam rolling your first. Tony Pizarro in second. Working caution now. Let's see. Who brought us a caution? Looks like it might have been Chris Walker. Let's back it up and see. Yes, it is. Netcode once again, folks. iRacing's having some issues tonight because I've seen guys just disappear off the track, reappear. See if we can get another look at that from his perspective and see what happened. Yep. See how the screen went blank? He disappeared. He come back. Car right in front of him you saw was on the brakes hard. This caution has got to make you wonder about Mr. Rick Ravon. Going back live. Rolling behind Mr. Ravon. I've got to wonder. He's the first car a lap down. He's going to get the beneficiary of a lucky dog go round here, if I'm not mistaken. And that's going to bring him back around where everyone else is going to have to come in and pit. He is going to catch a wave around, get back on the lead lap. Everyone bringing it pit side. Rick, there goes the wave around. Everyone bringing it pit side, knowing that, guess what? They're going to go for the 4 tires and the time on the track position up there. Because they're going to have to. I've only seen the best car make it 48, 49 laps. We got 100 laps to go. 106, we have 65 laps to go, 66 in this race, and I don't see how anybody can make it without making another stop. That's going to put Mr. Ravon looking pretty. He's got a little bit of work to do, but it looks like it moved him on up into the 10th position. Hell, dropped to 11. We'll see where he cycles out on this. Now I'm curious. All that talk about strategy. Well, folks, you just saw it play out right there. There's your leader, folks. And you see all the cars out in front of the leader. All those cars out in front of your leader. Let's take a look from the blimp. Looks like 1, 2, 3 are going to take the wave around. 4, one into the pits. 3 cars will take a wave around. And we'll have a starting grid. That second car, first car behind the pace car is going to take a wave around. Second car behind the pace car is your race leader. And for those of you that were questioning lap strategy, Mr. Ravon looks like he was not only able to get back onto the lead lap, he was able to take a pit side, grab him a tank of Go Fast, get him 4 Dr. Feelgoods. Cycled down to the 20th position. We'll see what he can do. We'll keep an eye on that for you. We'll work one more lap under caution. We'll be right back. Lights are out on the pace car. Field forming up behind them 2 by 2. Top 10 starters are going to look like this. Sage Karam, Tony Pizarro, Scotty Brinson up to P3, Paul Crumry, Chris Samard, Mark Walker, Nate Seifert 7th, Tony Bates, Cameron Bostain, top 10, rounding out by Jeff Hollingsworth. Boy, that's a name I say an awful lot, Jeff Hollingsworth. He stays under the radar. You don't notice him, but damn, he's right there towards the end of that run. Car's working the backstretch. Lights out on the pace car, as I said. Come around turn 3, turn 4 complex. Look for that Porsche to take that hard left down pit road. And it's all up to that first place driver as to when he wants to mash that loud pedal. "64 laps to go, folks. 63 when we take the green. And there they go. Hard on it. Second place falls in right behind, and here goes the Indy Snake. Green flag, back to racing. Sage Karam to the point. Tony Pizarro, Scotty Brinson, Chris Samard, and Paul Crumry, your top 5. Folks, I look for this to get a little more racy. A little bit of blocking going on there, a little bit of passing going on there, a little bit of, hey, get out of my way happening. We're getting down to it. Time to go. Pick them up, put them down, pick them up, put them down. Move it, move it, move it. Taking a look at Nate Seifert, boy, he's got kind of a bit of a roadblock in front of him. Guy's going high, guy's going low. What's he going to do? Let's take a bit of a ride with my man Nate. Bobbing and weaving at high speed, folks. Don't get no better than this. Leaves my man Nate no clean air to run in, no grip to grab. He's got to work on a draft of 2 different guys, outside and inside. Scotty Brinson and Chris Samard right in front of him. I'll be back in a second. Keeping an eye on Nate Siefker. We've been rolling around. He seems to be holding down that top 5 position. But your leaders sitting out there, top 5, look like this. Sage Karam, Tony Pizarro, Chris Samard, Scotty Brinson, and my man Nate holding down the 5th spot. You got to be wondering about strategy. Everyone, they all came in on lap 100, and we haven't seen anyone go over 50 on a tank. So we all know there's one more money stop involved in this thing. Who's going to blink first and take it early? Don't know. But then don't forget, folks, there is always that great equalizer, the caution. Don't want to bore you to death, folks. We are in the I'm going to cruise section of the race. Guys are starting to get a little more racy. Sage Karam, he's leading them around. Tony Pizarro in second. And you can take a look at that 2-car battle. There is a little bit of time going back and forth. Watch the time. Oh! Pizarro up in the wall. If he didn't touch that wall with his tires, folks, a piece of paper in between him and the car would not have survived. We'll put it to you like that. Half a second opening up. He's hanging in there. Maybe he'll catch that draft off of Sage and bring himself back up. He's starting to close that gap just a bit more. He's shaving at 0.4 now. Sage just such a demon off those corners. Oh, bouncing that wall again. Guys are getting a little bit racy. Taking a look back. Tony, yeah, he's falling back. He's almost a second behind now. Chris Samard holding down third. He's been in that top 3, top 4 all night long. And there's my man to watch. I told you, the driver to watch for the race, Scotty Brinson. He has worked himself up to a P5. Dropping back, or P4, dropping back through the field, Paul Crumry. Holding down 5th place, Jeff Hollingsworth at 6th. My man, Mark Walker. Pretty purple car. I love purple paint schemes. If you know about me, you know about purple on my paint. Mike Grandy holding down 8th. Cameron Bostain in 9th. And there goes our boy Nate Siefker, rolling 10th. Taking a look back up the lap. Let's take a ride with Tony Pizarro and see what's happening with him if he's out there bouncing that wall even harder. Coming back to your leader, Mr. Sage Karam. He's just holding that pretty wheel. He just holds that line so good. Not a whole lot to kind of take an eye on. Everyone's stretching it out. Everyone know that, hey, if we screw it up now, we're really going to shake it up, throw the dice. The great equalizer called the caution, but good Lordy be Jesus. Let's just ride for a bit. We're coming up. Working lap 118 of 165. Closest battle I got on the track, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, my cohort from ESPN, along with Mr. Bob Lacavera, a cohort from another league that I drive in. That's your closest battle on track. Yeah, Sam closing in on Timothy Bates. He's climbing up that ladder. Sam's in 13th, looking for 12th. And that is about the closest battle I've got on the track, folks. Not a whole lot to focus in on. Leader's sitting out front with a 1.5 second lead over second. Third place, another second behind him. Fourth, another 0.7. And shoot, you got to go 4.5 seconds back from the leader to find the fifth place car. All right, folks. We're going to take one last quick little break, and then we'll bring it back to you. It's all the way to the checkered flag. ESBN, Esports Broadcasting Network, bringing you coverage of the Top Fuel Racing Indy Series. As far east as they can go, because the Formula, like I said earlier, if Formula One can come here to our country, well, why don't we take our Indy cars and go to Japan? And that's what we did tonight, folks. The Twin Ring Motegi still working the laps out there. Your top five hasn't changed whatsoever. Your Sage Karam's still your leader, followed by Tony Pizarro, Chris Samard, Scotty Brinson, and Paul Krumrye. Look at that. Fourth place, Scotty Brinson. That was my man to watch. Still 3.5 seconds behind the leader, but hey, we're logging laps. We're keeping it real. Guys out there, everyone, all on the same pit cycle now. 25 laps on the tires, 25 laps of fuel out of the tank. We know that we've seen them start pitting at 48 laps, so you start to wonder. Count it down backwards, folks. 65 to 25, 125. That's 40 laps left out there. Who is going to blink first, take a pit side, get 4 fresh tires, short fuel it just enough to go so they could gain that track position, gain that traction that we talked about, and work it? Because the way I do my math, folks, we are about 10 laps, 15 laps short of fuel in all of these tanks on the track. They've got to make that money stop one last time. Riding around in the blimp, we got several different camera angles we could take you, folks. Let's just jump on Scotty Brinson's car. I mounted a whole bunch of GoPros on there when he wasn't looking. one right under his front wings. Gives you a sense of how fast that car is actually turning around there. You can see that asphalt flying by, and just know that your butt is only about 1.5 inches above it. Looking back from him, hid one right underneath his gearbox. He don't even know I was there. I put a camera on his roll bar. I put one up on his left pod. I put one up on back, looking back at the right. You know what? I did it all around him, and he didn't even see me in the pits. But I'll tell you what, the best view I think I've got is the high-speed drone. When I take a look back, he's trying to catch the drone, or is the drone trying to stay ahead of him? Don't know, couldn't tell you. But that is a good-looking car turning laps fast on the track, folks. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just like I said, focusing in on our leader, 2.25 seconds out in front of the pack. Just rolling it, 33 laps into those tires, 33 laps deep into that tank. I can only say he's maybe got another, 15 to 18 laps left in that tank, and that will not take him to lap 165, folks. Everybody on this track, on the same pit strategy, on the same pit cycle. It's going to be a money stop. Who's going to blink first? Who's going to bring it pit side to try to get that advantage, lose that advantage? You got to hit your marks just right. Working lap 133 of 165 here at the Twin Ring Motegi. Motegi, what a name, Motegi. I just can't get it, Motegi. Kind of rolls off the mouth, Motegi. Kind of like Mufasa. But I digress. Someone shoot me. I'm a half a jar of moonshine into this. What the hell? Byron Rodney's sitting here taking over for our man Pat Trapasso. Hopefully, I'm sending out a get well soon to him. Hopefully we'll see his curmudgeon-y Mr. El Grumpo butt back up here into the booth. But we all love him. Send our best wishes out to him. Following our leader, Sage Karen, man, top 5 has not changed. Not one change, one iota. The only thing that's changed on the top 5 is that distance between the 5th car and the 1st car. 8 seconds. But like I said, who's going to blink first and bring it on pit side? Will it be Mr. Sage Karam? Will it be our 2nd place, Tony Pizarro? Will it be our 3rd place, Scotty Brinson, Chris Samard, or Paul Crumry? Or will my man, Nate Siefker, or even better yet, let me move a little further back, holding down our P12 position in the Autism Awareness PH Aware car, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett. Is he going to be the one to blink first and go for that track position? It's a crapshoot, folks. You see them all stretched out down the lane. Not a whole heck of a lot to take a look at. 37 laps. Everyone's just sitting there going, caution, yay. That's what they're looking for. We're just taking a ride around, take a look from the blimp. High drone is what it is. Actually, would you consider the blimp one of the first drones? Nah, you had someone sitting up there in that gas bubble, just watching them go. Blimp circling the track. Got my eyes on the leader. And let me show you. There's the leader to center your screen, folks. There we are to 2nd place, 3rd place right behind him. These guys, it's all about what we call holding a pretty wheel. They know how to hit their marks just right. They know where to get off that throttle. They know where that edge is to get back on that throttle without snapping those rear tires loose on worn rubber. Because if we're not mistaken, track's cooled off quite a bit. Yeah, we're down to 88. We started this thing north of 100. Down to 88 degrees, it's got to be helping that traction. That's why you're seeing those guys stay out there. 40 laps on that fuel tank right now. Well, folks, it's got to be getting down to crunch time. I'm looking at 44 laps on our leader. Well, we have just got pit cycles going now, folks. Looks like the whole group's come on in. Your leader just coming off of pit road. 7.8 second pit stop. Tells me he put just enough fuel to it. Let's see where everything cycles back out on the leaderboard, because you know what? After this stop, we are go to the go. 22 laps to go left in this race. Only 5 cautions at the Twin Ring. These guys have been giving ground, taking ground, multiple lanes, but as I was talking about pre-race and during qualifying, that aero push is real when you're sitting behind a car. Your leader, Cameron Bostaine, he's out there still, 46 laps. You know, he's got to be praying right now. Oh, just barely making it in past that cone. That's got to be a penalty. That has got to be a penalty on pit entrance. We're going to follow that and see. He's on pit lane. Stop has started. 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds. Oh, yep. He caught that penalty on pit entrance. He's sitting there. It does not take more than 9 seconds to put fuel in 4 tires. He's 18, 19, 20. Boy, he caught a good one getting on pit entry. That's going to cycle your lead back out to the guy that's praying for the caution the most, Mr. John Antonucci, as he brings it in pit side. Ladies and gentlemen, when everyone started blinking, when everyone started looking, when everyone started wiping their eyeballs, take a look at the car back in the lead with a 4.5 second, this is mine to lose it mentality. Mr. Sage Karam with 20 laps to go. Race is his to lose at this point. It's all about, can I hold my concentration? Can I hold my bladder? Can I hold all the distractions? Can I hold everything that, dear God, needs holding to stay out there? Whoa! Is that, that wasn't Tony. Whoever was rolling right behind Sage caught themselves a big piece of that wall. Closest battle I've got on track is Mr. Chris Simard, working only a half a second back behind Scotty Brinson in 3rd place. Scotty's got a 2-second deficit he's got to make up to 2nd place, Tony Vazzaro. I don't think anyone's got anything, because our top 5, our 5th place position, Mr. Jeff Hollingsworth, 15 seconds behind the leader, 7 seconds behind Chris Simard in 4th. I think this race is probably going to go shake out right to where everyone's at if it just, no one steps on their own junk, if you know what I'm saying. It's all theirs to win, lose, place, draw. All I know is it's going to be a great points night for Scotty Brinson. He came in tied for the lead with points with, I believe, Jeff Hollingsworth. Him finishing 2 positions in front of Jeff Hollingsworth is going to be the distinction, because neither one of them have led a lap. That'll be the distinction of who's going to get the points lead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I was stepping away for just a second, technical difficulties, somebody decided, hey, that caution we were talking about, that great equalizer, let's bring that out, shall we? Looked like it was Timothy Bates might have brought that. Let's see what the old replay had to say. Yep. Let's take a quick look around here with Timothy and see what happened. As he brings her down the backstretch, works it into the turn 3-4 complex. He might have just brought that in just a little hot, because it got up in that aero wash I was telling you about. There it is, folks. You get in that dirty air, low downforce, worn tires. You went into that corner just a little too hot. Guess what, folks? Instant Johnny meet wall. Take you back live. Our leader rolling behind the pace car. Pace lights are on. Folks, this is going to be like a 12, 13 lap shootout. We'll bring you right back. Well, here we are, folks. 14 laps to go. Lights on the pace car. Is that track cooled down and is it going to help us? Yep. Track temp has dropped 86 degrees and is dropping as we approach towards the end of the day. 78 degrees outside. Nice day in Japan. I think I'm turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Just never mind me, folks. Your top 10 rolling out in the track. Sage Karam, Tony Pizarro, Scotty Brinson, Chris Samar, Jeff Hollingsworth rolling out your top 5. Everyone elected to keep it out there. They're saying, no, I ain't coming in for feel goods. I ain't coming in for fuel. I got it. We're good to the end. Nate Siefker, Rick Ravon, Mark Walker, Mark Randy, and look who's crawling back up into the top 10, folks. Sam Cooper Bennett. I have a couple of them, and I have a couple of you in the pits. Paul Crumry, Raul Alvarez, Andy Yerk, Timothy Bates, he's been there a long while, and Bob Riley, oh my God. Sorry, bud, but 3,000 seconds is a long time to be sitting pit side. Time to park it and pop it in the trailer. Lights still on the pace car. Rolling around. I'm taking you around on the leader's car a few times under, while he's firing under anger. Ladies and gentlemen, does 60 miles an hour look a lot slower than 200 miles an hour to you? This is what a long track at 60 mile an hour is when the pace car is out. Grab a sandwich, grab your water bottle, sit there and wave to the crowd. Try not to fall asleep. Tell you what, I'm going to give you a good shot. Our third place driver was my man to watch, and I showed you how I put cameras all over his car. He don't even know I hid cameras under his dang shock absorbers, under the gearbox, under the front wing. He might get mad at me if it slows him down, but hell, who cares? Let's roll it into that third place driver. Lights are out on the pace car. Everyone's got to form it up 2 by 2. We're going to leave it right here. One more pace lap around. We're going to watch the leader take off. And we're going to see what third place has got for these two when we take the green flag with 11 laps to go in this race. One long ass backstretch to go before we get back around to time to push the scramble button. We're going to take the green. We got to take 11 circuits. Folks, what's the over-under on how many laps we're going to do before we see the next caution? Because you know these guys are not going to give that respect. That give and take has been given away and taken back and thrown out the window, wadded up, tossed out, thrown at someone else in anger. We're going to follow this around. We're coming around the turn 3, turn 4 complex. You're going to see that pace car take that hard left into pit road. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It's time to mash that loud pedal. It's a tall, skinny one over to the right. Brake pedal, we don't know what that is. Just mash the loud pedal. There you go. Green flag, and we're on. Let's see. Let's take a lap around with Scotty Brinson, see if he's got anything for him, and then we'll take a look top 5. Rolling around that track. Sage Karam's out there in front. Tony Bizzarro following him in second. Scotty Brinson holding down third. Jeff Hollingsworth moving up to fourth. Nate Seeker moved up to fifth. That's your top 5, ladies and gentlemen. As they look for the air, they look for the clean air, they look for the line, the fast way around on the low line, the momentum way around on the high line. It's time to get it on. 10 to go. Well, you can throw a blanket over those top 3. They're not giving up. This is going to be fighting. The leader, Sage Karam, blocking it like crazy. It's his right to do, but you know what? That man knows how to make a 5-foot car look 15 feet wide when you're right behind him. Catching him's one thing, passing him's something different. Tony Pizarro's giving it everything. He's got that outside lane, rolling it. Sage holding him down on the inside. Only 15 laps in on those tires, on that fuel. They're good to go to the end. 9 to go. Here we go with the Indy Snake on down the backstretch. Wow, Tony just rolling that way high up out there. Sage trying to block him. I don't think Sage thought he was going to shoot that far out towards the wall. Oh, big accident. Big accident. Caution's out. Caution is out. Let's get a look at that. Take a ride with Mike Gandy. Take a look on him and see what happened there. And next lap around, I think we're going to see people tumbling, people rolling, people flying. Here it comes around. Someone going to get into somebody right here, folks. We're going to see who that was. We'll take a ride on the vomit cam with him. What the hell? And I hear him. I hear it. There it goes. Focus right in on it. Bam! Let's take us a quick little peek, shall we? See what Mike Gandy had to see on that. They got it happen behind Mike. Yeah, that happened back behind Mike. Well, let's go back live. We're rolling under caution. Sitting with our leader, Sage Karam. I do not think he's going to take that thing pit side. I don't think anybody's going to take the dang thing pit side, tell you honest to God truth. Person's been out here the longest is Mike Grandy. 21 laps on those tires. That wreck there, folks, I'm going to tell you, that had benefited some people, that had hurt others. The most benefit, I'm going to say, is the top 5 stayed in the top 5. Whoever in the next 5 was not involved moved their butt right on up. Mike Gandy holding down 6th. Sam Cooper Bennett 7th. Rick Ravon at 8th. Looking at your top 10. Paul Krumrye and Mark Walker rounding out the top 10. Bob Lacavara right behind Jeb Wubker. They're holding down the 12th and 11th respectively. Raul Alvarez and Johnny Antonucci. Look at Cameron Bostain. He's still in the pits. Long pit stop. Still rolling that timer. That must have been who got caught pretty damn hard. Pace car lights are still on. You know, this track kind of reminds me of Daytona, Talladega. Kind of reminds me of Pocono. Those tracks that when a caution comes out, you as a driver get to sit there and whistle Dixie. Get to sit there and, shoot, fill out your taxes. Take, whatever test for online college course you were on running. Long caution laps. With the pace lights still on, looks like we might get the green with 5 to go. 5-lap shootout to the end. Do you think we'll see another caution? 1.54 miles around this thing. At 60 mile an hour, that takes a little while. We're used to seeing them at 200. Watching the field work the front stretch. Pace car lights are still on. Whoa, what have we hit? It's part of online racing, folks. Your steering wheel comes undone or comes unplugged, the cat walks across it. This is what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Follow Mr. Bennett. That's what happens when the family dog decides to sit on your brake pedal. And I know Sam cannot be a happy camper. He's still holding 7th place, but you got to imagine, let's take a look at the front of his car with the high-speed drone. You gotta wonder what that front end's going to feel like going at 200 miles an hour. You know, with a chicken wing sticking up one way and a looked like the wishbone bone. Well, Sam won. The wall lost. Sam got the piece with the wishbone. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen. Sam can't be a happy camper right now. That is going to be an interesting view, to say the least, coming to turn 1. Lights are out on the pace car as we work turns 1 and 2. We're going to take a green flag with 3 laps to go. Do we get 3 laps? Does somebody else crap the bed? That respect issue that I talked about, because I've told you folks many times, you can't win it on the first lap. You can't win it on the 50th lap. Hell, you can't win it on the 120th lap. But you can lose it on those laps. Well, that's going to apply with 3 to go. But with 3 to go, anyone that's got anything left, they got to go. You know, my heart goes out to Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett holding down P7, but when they drop that green flag and it's time to hit the loud pedal, you got to wonder, I wouldn't want to be the guy on the outside of him. Who's that going to be? Oh, Mr. Rick Ravon. Folks, coming around to the green, there goes the pace car, takes a hard left in. They are on the throttle early, green flag in the air. There goes the Indy Snake. And ladies and gentlemen, no surprise, Sage Karam to the point. He's led 118 laps of this race. You know, it's only a 165 lap race. But guys are not giving up. Look at them, shooting high, shooting low. Nate Siefker up there, Tony Pizarro up there, Scotty Brinson, Jeff Hollingsworth. These guys have been so good around each other. It's like, hey, I'm with you, but, you know, I'm away from you. But, hey, look, 2 laps to go. Get out of my way. Time to pick them up, put them down, pick them up, put them down, move it, move it, move it, out the way, out the way, out the way. That's what everyone's thinking right now. Don't bump. Let's slalom. Let's break that draft. Coming to the white flag, ladies and gentlemen, Sage Karam, Tony Pizarro, Nate Siefker, your top 3. Top 3 are rolled across the start-finish line. We are on the final lap. That's the Twin Ring Motegi. Has Tony Pizarro got enough for Sage Karam? Is Sage Karam going to make that car feel real wide? Is it going to be a bump? Is it going to be a give? Is it going to be a take? Ladies and gentlemen, side by side, heading into the corner. Sage has that preferred line. Nate Siefker down low. Can Tony close him out? Drag race to the finish. Checkers are out, ladies and gentlemen. Sage Karam is your winner. Tony Pizarro, followed by Nate Siefker. Top 5 look like this. Scotty Brinson and then Jeff Hollingsworth rounding it out. You guys, what an event. What a race. Oh, my God. Top 10. I'm going to say, you know, your points leader coming into this race was tied between, I believe, Jeff Hollingsworth and Scotty Brinson. You don't get much of a tiebreaker than that. I think we got a 1-point difference between first and second in the points in the season winding down. As we watch Sage take it around, roll those donuts, don't bang. Oh, yeah. I hope there wasn't an open mic moment where he told, his crew chief told him, knock the ass out of it. Oh, what a race, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, that one, you know what? We rode along, we fell along, we fouled along, and we had a good one right at the end. Let's take a look at how this race finished out. Sage Karam takes the win. Tony Pizarro, Nate Siefker, Scotty Brinson holds down 4th, Jeff Hollingsworth 5th. Paul Crumride comes home in the 6th position, followed by Rick Raveron, Mike Grandy in 8th. Mark Walker and Jeff Webker round out your top 10. Sam Cooper Bennett, after that damage, after that, what looked like the family dog just decided to sit right on his steering wheel or his pedals, he brings it home respectfully, 11th position. Bob Lacavera in the 12th, 1 lap down. Johnny Antonucci, 13th. Raul Alvarez, Andy Yerk, Timothy Bates, Cameron Bastain, Chris Samard, a heartbreaker of a night, 7 laps back. Kevin O'Brien and Chris Mahan running into some problems early, running into some problems real early. That is your race results. Taking you back up. You know what? Let's talk to some of these drivers up here. Let me see if I can find our 3rd place finisher, Mr. Nate Siefker. I know he's around here somewhere. Let me see if I can get a microphone over to him and ask him about that 3rd place run, because you know what? Mr. Nate Siefker, you started pretty far in the back of that pack. You took one heck of a run to get up to the P3. Tell me about that last pit stop and a run through the pack.
Dude, I don't think I was ever higher than 3rd until those final laps. I mean, I started like 5th and I hit the wall like with 5 other guys at that caution, that first one, and just a fluctuation back and forth, and finally got to a point where, I finally felt comfortable. I finally figured out what lane to run, and, I'd hardly practiced. So I think that kind of caused my first incident. But, I'll take 3rd place for sure. I worked my butt off for it. So, I'll take it for sure.
Well, yeah, I saw you. You took a pretty low starting spot in this race. I believe it was rolled off the grid on 20th?
Well, no, I rolled off 5th, and then I got in that first. I hit the wall with like 3 other guys on that first caution, I guess, and that sent me to the back. So I was in the back plenty of the time tonight. I was in the front in the mid pack. I don't think I was ever higher than 6th until that final stage of the race. So I'll take it for sure.
Well, we were watching back in the pack. The guy out in front had the advantage with the arrow, but arrow push looked very real on this track. How much did you feel it sitting back there in that dirty air?
It was awful. It was difficult to get within half a second, and you had to have some luck to get there to the guy. But the second I got clean air, I had a clean air a couple times where guys were about 3 seconds in front of me, and I could close up on them really quickly because, I couldn't get close to them, but I could close up on them because of that clean air was just king tonight. So got to the end of that race, and I think I just started getting my runs right, and that last pit stop, I gained 2 spots because, I gained 3 seconds. I about had Jeff too.
Yeah.
And I passed him on the track, and then I passed Scott too. So, I got lucky for sure with my 3rd place. I'm not saying it, but I definitely earned it too.
Yeah, well, talking about, having clean air and running, let's talk to Mr. Clean Air himself. Pointed that car to the lead, pointed that car to the win, 121 laps of leading this race. Mr. Sage Karam, I've seen you put on one heck of a clinic on, hey, it's easy to catch me, but try getting around me, pal.
Yeah, the car was quite difficult to drive, especially in traffic, so I knew, track position was pretty key, but I didn't really know, when you're the leader and yellow flags come out, you don't really know if people are going to pit, and you don't know if you're supposed to because, they pretty much just read you. So that was the big thing I had to fight all night, but thankfully, it seemed that everybody pitted kind of when I did, and, Rick got a little off strategy there, and it was hard to pass. I knew, the tires were about good for 3 laps behind cars, and then after that, you just couldn't really run within half a second to them, and I couldn't get around Rick in time, so I lost the run in.
Let's talk a little bit about that run, because I was wondering what the heck he was thinking on strategy. He put himself into 2 stops where everyone else can make it on 1, and he had 22 lap tires actually 25 when you guys took that green, and he was able to hold you off on that first spot for a good long run? Or was that you just saying, hey, look, I'm going to settle in and ride this out. I know the guy's got to make 2 stops to my 1.
Yeah, a little bit of both. You know, I didn't want to over push it and completely use up the front tire because I knew he was going to come in down pit lane shortly. And then also, like I said before, like when you had new tires compared to somebody who had old, it was like if you didn't get it done within the first 3 laps, you know, it was pretty hard to get another shot at him. So, you know, I had to get around another car early, and then missed the shift on the 2nd lap, and then 3rd lap I got a run, and all of a sudden, like, everybody disappeared. We had like a server issue, and I was alongside him and disappeared, and everybody else around me disappeared for about 3 laps, and then we came back and he was like a second in front of me. So we all have no idea what happened in that point of the race. You lost it on the broadcast too, I saw.
Yeah, it went completely blank. I lost everybody, and I thought it was my machine giving me issues. But then when I looked at the broadcast stream, I was not dropping anything, so my connection was strong. I don't know what happened with iRacing, but we had a long talk about it. Shoot, that last caution looked like the either Sam's steering wheel came unplugged or the family dog came and sat on his brake pedal. But those are the things that happen in online racing.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's as real as real racing gets, minus, you know, you're not actually in a real car, and a lot of it comes down to connection, you know, internet connections and a lot of electronics. So a lot of things can go wrong, and, you know, thankfully everything went right for me tonight. But, you know, some guys got caught out. I know Damon, you know, halfway through all that, he got disconnected from it, and some other guys, you know, had some unfortunate issues with it. But
there
you know,
were a couple of cautions brought out due to guys that just flat disappeared, but when they reappeared, hello, there's a car, and it just net coated them right over over the wall to the crowd. But congratulations on the win, great win. We able to watch you, the car out in front had the respect, was able to start legging it out through 3 seconds. Who I want to talk to now is a guy that kind of gave you, Mr. Sage Karam, a run right there at the end. Found out that that first place car, Mr. Tony Pizarro, can make himself, you know, 5-foot car wide, you know, make himself feel 15 feet wide.
Yeah, I was pretty much behind Sage the entire time. He was just lightning fast, and once I got about 0.6, 0.7 seconds behind, I would just lose it, and then I'd lose maybe like a third of a tenth per lap after that, maybe a half a tenth.
How bad was the aero wash for you? Because we were talking about that pre-race, we were talking about it during the broadcast. Guys could not hold that same line, man. The downforce on those front tires, you turn that wheel, it didn't want to turn. How bad was it just being behind just one car?
It wasn't really that bad. It was actually kind of interesting because you could run multiple grooves to kind of combat that, but still, when you have a fast car in front of you, it made it impossible with old tires to even come close to catching. But in turn 1, I would just ride the high line and dip low, and it seemed to really work really, really well. But if you have Sage in front of you, you had no chance.
I got to tell you, this looks like I did not have. This is my first experience with the Twin Ring, and I didn't even have this track before the broadcast. I've never been on it in any vehicle. From riding along with you guys during laps to watching you from the blimp, the helicopter, you name it, it looks like it is a very technical track to run.
It is. You got to run the same exact line in 3. You could run high and run a higher mile an hour, and it'll feel faster. But then you'll see everyone kind of just blow right by you or gain a tenth from you. So, like, if you go down turns 3 and 4 and you do that right, you really got it hooked up.
Yeah, well, hey, I want to say congratulations for the podium finish in second place. What I want to bring in now and talk to is the guy that came in fourth. The guy that came in here tied for the points lead in the championship series, and I believe he was tied with the guy who finished in P5, Mr. Scotty Brinson.
Yes, sir.
You were my driver to watch through the race. I always pick a driver or two, and you were my driver to watch. Just like normal, from my racing with you to my broadcasting you to my watching you, you just stayed under the radar, didn't get your number called very much. But holy crap, when I look at the results and the leaderboard at the end of the race, look who's sitting here in P4. That's got to put you in the points lead, doesn't it, my friend?
Yeah, I just did the points, and I got a 3-point lead now, but I don't feel like it. I'm pretty pissed off, actually, about how that race ended. I feel like I lost the podium. I had a shot to win the race, and, these guys that step on their dicks at the end of the race and bring these late cautions out, it's been killing me all season, and I'm just kind of fed up with it. So it is what it is, but I did come out of here with the points lead, but I'm really not happy about it, to be honest with you, because I lost a chance to win the race when I was right there with Tony and Sage. And congratulations to Sage to win the race. It's his 4th win of the season. I wouldn't expect anything less. He comes in and he drives like a madman, and he's fast as hell, and we all have to chase him all night. And usually when Pizarro shows up, same story with him. So I wasn't surprised to see those guys up front running 1 and 2. The race, it changed its chapters as the race went on and unfolded. And unfortunately, like I said, those late cautions just burned my race and kind of burned me up. So, but we'll take the points lead. We'll move on to New Hampshire, which is a strong track for me, and we'll just keep going.
New Hampshire, the flat, long corners, you got to be so patient rolling around it in your car kind of track. I do it in closed fendered racing a lot. Open wheels, got to be a whole new experience there.
It's fun. It's fast. It's intense. I don't expect we'll have a great big field. I know we won't have anything like we did tonight. I wouldn't expect it. Usually scares a lot of people off. Fact is, next couple of weeks we'll be doing short track racing, and that in general usually scares people off. But we'll be going to Iowa right after New Hampshire. So these next 2 weeks, I think the championship could be decided in these next couple of weeks, depending on how things go. If I get caught up in a bunch of trash, or Hollingsworth gets caught up in a bunch of trash, it could have a ultimate impact with how the championship ends at the end, because we only got 7 races left, so we're getting close.
It's getting close. It's time to practice up those tracks, put in the time in the seat to learn that track, and wreck avoidance is key, ladies and gentlemen. Scotty,
Yeah.
It's an honor to broadcast your league, man. I love doing this.
Hey, Byron, I appreciate you stepping in. I just want to take a minute and wish our buddy Pat, Tony Trepasso, a speedy recovery, and I hope he gets his health under control. This has been an ongoing thing with him, and I'm just afraid one of these nights we're going to get a phone call we ain't going to like. And Tony, I want you to get your ass out of the hospital and get healthy, man, and hope to see you back here at the track, and hope life just turns around for you, man, and send you some goodwill here soon.
Good juju out his way, that's for damn certain, Scotty.
That's right. And Byron, thanks for showing up tonight and cover, man. I and everyone else here at Top Fuel Racing appreciate you doing that.
Hey, nobody thank me. I want you all to send the thanks to the other half who had plans that said, you know what, Scotty needs you to go handle it.
Tell her we all said thank you very much, and we appreciate it very much.
All righty. Hey, guys, it was fun. It was real. It was real fun. We're going to be in New Hampshire next week for Top Fuel Racing here on ESPN, the Esports Broadcasting Network.
Hey,
It's
Byron,
your man.
before we go, not to interrupt you, I want to say one more thing. The
What's
race
that?
for me, I was frustrated with, but I want to say the race overall, much better than what we had at Pocono. So to the guys out there, the overall race itself, even with the late caution, was frustrating me. We only had 7 total for that entire race, 165 laps. So that was pretty good. And let's just keep up that going to New Hampshire and Iowa, because those two could be big-time shit shows if we let it get away from us.
Yep, you got that right. Hey,
Wait. One more thing.
One more thing. Hold on.
One
Okay,
more.
let me stop the music. Say one more thing.
Yeah, I'm going to get my ass kicked anyway because I forgot to do this first.
Uh-oh.
But Brittany, if you're listening, honey, I love you very much, and I didn't forget about you, and I hope you're having a good night, and I hope you're feeling better, sweetheart. I love you with all my heart.
Oh, wow. What a sentiment. Hey, there you go.
Oh, I've been getting an earful because I didn't give her a shout-out the last couple of times, and usually I give her one every week, and she was telling her new coworkers, so I usually give her a shout-out, and then I made her look stupid. So I love you, honey.
Yeah, well, now that I know it, I won't let you forget it, and I'll make sure that shout-out gets to you at the end of it all. Hey, everyone. For Scotty Brinson, the owner of the league, for myself, Byron Rodney here in the ESPN booth, for Sam Cooper Bennett, the guy who started it all off, Top Fuel Racing Series, everybody, from the Twin Ring Motegi. We will be at New Hampshire next week, right here on the ESPN Broadcasting Network. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Byron Rodney, and we are out of here.